I'll log into the domain controller first, though we don't require, but eventually we'll just preview what user and groups we have in our on our domain controller or in our Active Directory. I'll maximize the screen. Watch it here. This is our domain controller. I'll open Active Directory services. So under our Active Directory, we have user in finance, in HR, and in production. We have three users and we have one group of finance, right? We have one group of finance. Now let's go to our Exchange server. So we started the installation and our installation is completed successfully. So we can launch Management, sorry, Admin Center if we want to launch it after the installation. So I can click finish. So it will launch the Exchange Admin Center. That is going to launch in our Google Chrome because we have made it as a default launch browser. And I can say it is showing our dmember01, that is our machine name slash ECP Exchange Control Panel. ECP stands for Exchange Control Panel. That is the default URL. You can access your Exchange server. So it has some. Okay, it is not able to locate any domain controllers. I'll switch off the internet because we don't require internet. That's why it is going to another LAN card. I'll switch off the internet. And on this my address, I'm having my domain controller DNS server 10.100 IP address to locate Exchange server. Now before accessing it, I'll restart my Exchange server. It is recommended a restart after your Exchange installation, though it would work, but might you can face any issue if any services are not started. So it is recommended that you restart your server. We got an error of DNS resolution because the request was going to our public DNS server from the another LAN card which had public DNS servers. I hope my screen is clearly visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's log into our Exchange server. as we have gone through the prerequisites that it requires 128 GB of RAM. So now you can see it is taking a little bit of time because we have only 16 GB or 24 GB of RAM on my Exchange server. Right, so our machine name is dmember01, and let's open the browser. I can type localhost/ECP, which stands for again Exchange Control Panel. Localhost is going to point to our local machine itself. You can see it is saying that your connection is not private because it has a self-signed certificate. So the machine is not recognizing the self-signed certificate, or the browser is not recognizing the self-signed certificate. We'll go to advanced and we'll proceed to localhost. And production, if you want to access locally, it is okay. But let's say if you want to access it from the internet, then you should have a certificate installed. So you can see it is showing our browser page of Exchange Admin Center. Now let's log in. So it is asking domain/user and password. So I'm going to log in as administrator at sp.com, or eventually you can type netbios name/administrator and the password. We'll sign in. It is going to take some time, couple of seconds, because the resources are low. It is asking, please select your language and the time zone. So language will keep English United States. Time zone, I'm going to give plus 5:30, the Indian time zone. We'll click save. So any user logging on the Exchange web browser for the first time, they need to confirm the time zone and the language. So we have logged in as an admin, so we will be able to see the preview of our Exchange admin center. But eventually, you can log in as a user by typing localhost or the server name slash OVA. You can see the URL in the browser. It is showing OWA Outlook Web Access is the full form. So we can see that we have successfully logged into our Exchange admin center or the Exchange control panel. Now we are going to preview the things of Exchange admin center or Exchange control panel. So on the left hand side, we have the navigation menu where we have recipients, permissions, compliance management, organization, protection, mail flow, mobile access, public folders, servers, hybrid, etc. On the recipients tab, we are standing on the recipients tab and under mailboxes, right? We have under mailboxes. So one mailbox is created of the administrator, the domain administrator. You can see the email address is administrator at the domain name. That is also the login name of the administrator. We have groups. So by default here, we will not be able to fetch groups from AD. We can add another groups. So we'll discuss that. Here we have resources, we have contacts, we have shared mailboxes and migration related stuff. So today we'll talk about mailboxes. Now, when we talk about mailboxes, we have two types of mailboxes. We have mailbox user and mail enabled user. Mailbox user and a mail enabled user. Mailbox user is your user under your Active Directory which can who can log in anywhere in your domain, and they will be having a mailbox on your domain itself, that is under your exchange server, under your exchange server. Just a second. Right, mailbox user is a user which is created under your Active Directory and has a mailbox on your exchange server, whereas mail enabled user is a user under your Active Directory but will have a mailbox on another domain. For example, let's say ICICI Bank is working with, or Wipro is working with ICICI Bank as a vendor. Now, ICICI Bank has its own users created under Active Directory, and they have given mailbox to those users which are on their exchange server that is under their domain. Whereas Wipro is working with ICICI Bank, so Wipro might have some users created on the Active Directory of ICICI Bank so they can log in on the machines of ICICI Bank, but they will have their own mailboxes on wipro.com domain, and they will be binded with their user ID of ICICI Bank. So that is a mail enabled user having an Exchange mailbox on another domain, whereas mailbox user is a user under Active Directory and having a mailbox on the same domain under our own Exchange server. So let's try to create a mailbox user. So here I can click on the plus sign. So you can see it is saying user mailbox or linked mailbox. So we'll go to user mailbox. Now it is asking you the alias name of the user. The user's alias is the portion of the email address on the left side of the @ symbol. It must be unique in your organization. That means it is the mail address. For example, administrator at the domain name, administrator at the sp.com. So administrator is the user, that is the alias with which the user will be able to log in. For example, I want to create a user, Krishna, right? Krishna Teja is a user and we need to provide a alias of that user, a alias of that user. So that will be a login name of the user. So at present, I'm not adding any alias. What I'm doing, I'm going to fetch the existing user, right? I'm going to fetch the existing user from Active Directory. So I'll click on browse. So you can see it is showing all the users which are part of our domain. And on the right hand side, it is showing the path of the OU, that is the organizational unit. So we have 3 users. So I'm going to select Shruti. So Shruti is under my production OU, which is under my domain users, and that domain users OU is under my domain sp.com. So I'm going to select the existing user Shruti Hassan. Now let's go and see first. Let's go and see first what is the UPN name, user principal logon name of that user. So either I can check from here if I am having Active Directory console installed here. So I'm having Active Directory console installed here on this machine. So let's open Active Directory here itself. We don't need to go to the domain controller to access the same because we had installed our set tools for Active Directory. So let's go to production. Let's go to the user Shruti. And let's go to the account and you can see the login name for Shruti Hassan is Shruti at sp.com. So that is the user principal name or user logon name. So let's go back to our exchange. So we'll select this user. Now, once I've selected, I have not given the alias name because it is not compulsory. It is compulsory or not. We'll see in a moment. I'll see more options. So now, first of all, we have selected the existing user and we'll scroll down. So here it is asking mailbox database. So I'll click on browse for the mailbox database. So you can see by default a mailbox database is created on our server dmember01. At present, we have only one Exchange server. You can have multiple Exchange servers and they will be connected with each other. At present, we have only one Exchange server, and on that Exchange server, the Exchange server name is dmember01. A database is created, mailbox database 11399172239. So that is the database name where, so in this mailbox database, users mailbox will be stored. So we'll select the mailbox database. Now, at present, I'm not defining anything else. We'll just click save. You can see a user is created, Shruti Hassan. The user was already there under our Active Directory. And the email address assigned is shruti at sp.com. Shruti at sp.com. And we see on the right hand side, so you can see the user mailbox is shruti at sp.com. Title of his work phone we have not provided. Phone and voice features. So mobile devices is enabled. Disable Exchange Active Sync. We can disable it. So we can view details. So what services it has, we'll see that. So at present, you can see Exchange, ActiveSync, and Outlook Web Access for devices are enabled for this user, and the default policy is assigned. Device mailbox policy, the default policy is assigned. And at present, there are no mobile devices attached with the user. So when a user logs into any mobile device, the device information will be available there. So we have mobile devices enabled. So OIS enabled and Exchange Active Sync is enabled. In place archiving is disabled. Archiving is disabled. We can enable it. In place hold, user isn't under hold, right? Email connectivity, user can access Outlook on the web is enabled, right? And we can click on view details. So Outlook web app mailbox policy is the default policy. We can disable the Outlook on the web for this user. And we can move this user to another database also. So at present, if I want to see the database, where is my database? So if I go to my servers, if I go to my servers, so here you will be able to see all your servers wherever you have installed the exchange, where you have installed the exchange. How those servers will appear here? If we go to the organization tab, just a second, just a second. Okay, so let's come back. I'm sorry for disturbance. Okay, so we have organization. So on the basis of the organization, we gave the organization name. Your servers will appear here. When you will install another servers, you will provide the organization name. On the basis of that organization name, your servers will appear here. So you will have all the servers here, all the servers here. Just a second. Yes, we will have our servers here. If you have multiple Exchange servers installed, you will be able to see the Exchange server version, server roles, what server roles you have installed. And here on the database tab, we can have our database. So by default, a database is created already on this server. You can see the name of the database is given here. This is the database name active on the server with copies. This server has the copy of the database and the status is mounted. So let's create one more database here. So I'm going to click on plus sign. So it is asking mailbox database name. So I'll give mbdb01. mbdb01 is asking on which server you want. We'll click browse. We'll give the server path and so we have given the server and by default the path will be, so this will be the path. Let me copy the path in the notepad. So we'll go and see the path and this is the log path. So you can see the log path is in the folder of the database and this is the EDP file, Exchange database file, EDB file, and the database name is mbdb01. MB stands for mailbox, DB stands for database 01. A folder will be created mbdb01 and this is the install location of Exchange. This is the install location of Exchange. So if we go to the install location, let us see program files, Microsoft Exchange Server v15, and here we have mailbox folder. So under this mailbox, we are able to see that we have this folder created, which is the database folder. So this database folder is there. Now you can see this database folder created, it got created some moment before. Why it created some moment before? So when you install the Exchange, a database is not created. But once you launch the Exchange control panel and you create a user, at the moment a script is executed and a database is created by default. Right. So this database was created. At present, we don't have any another database. So let's go to the Exchange control panel. So we were creating another database, MBDB01. This is the path, this is server, and it is saying mount this database by default. So until this database is not mounted, you will not be able to create a user mailbox on that database. So we'll click save. So let it get mounted. Okay, so it is saying please restart the Microsoft Exchange Information Store service on server after adding a new mailbox database. So we need to restart the Exchange Information Store service. We'll say OK. So my database is created MBDB01. And if we go to the path, right, you can see a folder is created. If we go inside this folder, so you can see these are the log files and we have the EDB file. It is of 8 MB at present. MBDB01 file is there. And if we go to the this database folder, here also we can see we have the EDB file. You can see we have the EDB file and it is of 247 MB. It is of 247 MB because this is the default database. Some information is mounted here already, and we have also created a user on mailbox under this database. So by default, the user's information gets stored here. So as the user's mailbox will get occupied, let's say at present user's mailbox is not occupied, it doesn't have any data inside. Once the user starts communicating, starts sending mails, receiving mails, so the user mailbox will have information, it will have data. So that data will be stored under user mailbox. That mailbox is getting stored under this database. So if we go to this user Shruti, right? What? So let's go to the recipients. We have user Shruti. Let's right click. Sorry, we'll click on the ellipsis button. So you can see here we can disable the user, we can add remove columns, we can connect to a mailbox, we can go with advanced search, or I can select the user and we have this edit button. We can click on edit. I can see here we have a lot of information of the user. We have a lot of information of the user. Just a second. So we have a lot of the information here, and this is the general information of the user. If we go to the mailbox usage information, so you can see by default the space allocated to a user is 2 GB. The space allocated to a user is 2 GB and used space is 60 KB only. Used space is 60 KB. Right. So once the user starts using the mailbox, the information or the space will start getting filled, and that will impact your database size also. Now let's cancel this. We'll come to this properties later on. What I'll do, we'll click on the plus button and we'll say again user mailbox. Now I'm going to add another user. I'm not going to go with an existing user. I'll select new user. I'm going to select new user. So under new user, we'll create another user. So let's create a user. I'm going to give the first name as Krishna, last name as Teja, right? So there's the display name, there's the name of the user, OU where you want this user's information to get stored. So we have multiple OUs. So I'm going to give under finance, we'll select OK. So my user Krishna will get stored under finance. User logon name, I'm giving user logon name as Krishna. Password, I'm allocating a password. I don't want user to change the password, and I'll go with the more options where we'll select the database now. So you can see now it is showing me two databases. So I'm going to select MBDB01. We'll select OK. And I'm not filling any alias. I'll leave it blank and I'll click save. Let's say if it is going with alias or not. So by default, it has taken the alias of user logon name, krishna@sp.com. And now this user's database is on another database, right? So how we can identify? So let's say if I select Shruti Hassan and if we go to edit button, so here it is. If we go to mailbox usage, more options, right? Are we able to see where it is stored? We are not able to see here. Let's go to the organization tab. Here also we are not able to see. Mailbox feature, here also we are not able to see. But if we cancel this and if we here, we have move mailbox to another database. If I select to another database, so you can see target database it is asking, right? Target database it is asking. So new migration batch name and the target batch name. Sorry, target database. If I click browse, so you can see by default it is showing it is at present on this database. It is on this database. I need to select the new database, click on add and OK. So we have selected this database and archive database. I'll select the archive database, also the new database, add OK, and we can give the batch name. So MG01 migration batch 01. Right now we can click on next and we require after the batch is complete, a report will be sent to the following recipients, right? So we can say new. So batch will start. At present, we don't want to migrate. So I'm just showing the steps how we can migrate from one database to another database. So it can possible a database has got corrupted and you want to migrate the users, or due to some any another reason you want to migrate to another users. Maybe this database, the another database is on another server. That's why you want to migrate, because you want to decommission this existing server and you want to migrate all the users to another database which is on another server itself. So in that scenario also we need to migrate the user's mailbox from one database to another database. Clear till now? Any doubts?
Clear, sir.
Yes, Krishna?
Clear, sir. It's clear, sir. No doubts.
Okay. So now first tell me, you guys have installed the Exchange or not?
I have installed it, sir. I have installed Exchange server, but I need your help whether I have installed all the prerequisites or not to verify.
So you
I,
didn't selected that what steps are prerequisite should be validated. The step was there, na?
I
Prerequisite should
have
be validated.
yeah, I have installed, sir. Every prerequisite I have installed. Just
Hmm.
just wanted some verification from your side at the end of the section whether I have installed everything properly or not.
Okay, so you got the message successfully completed the
Yeah,
screen
yeah,
which
yeah.
I showed today.
Yes, yes, I got it.
Then I don't think so you have any issues. If
Okay.
prerequisites were not, it will not. If you have by chance accidentally also if you have missed any prerequisites,
Mm-hmm.
Exchange will not get installed.
Oh,
See,
okay.
Microsoft's two products are like uh, elephant size, right?
Mhm.
We say in Hindi as hathi, and if you want to install those two uh, servers, managing them sometimes is really a challengeable task. One is Exchange, one is SCCM. If they are running smooth, everything is smooth. But when they will give pain, you will be literally in pain. These both two products are like that. So if it is successfully installed, 100% it is successfully installed. You don't need to worry. If by
Okay.
chance, if you accidentally also missed, it will not get installed.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, Krishna?
Sir, I have not done because of I went to Tirupati because of my sister hospitalized. I will do it tomorrow, sir. Will inform you.
Okay, okay.
Right now, I am also in bus coming back to my hometown. We'll
Okay,
do it tomorrow.
okay. So, what I will do for today, shall we keep this much only?
Yes, sir. Fine. It's fine.
Right? Because I want that you first should go through the interface of the exchange. Then from tomorrow, within 10 days, we'll be completing exchange. 10 to 12 days, or maybe in 2 weeks, we'll complete exchange, and 1 week for Office 365 part of exchange online. In 3 weeks, we'll complete easily. Okay, and tomorrow I'll confirm you. So I'll try to adjust the time. I'll confirm you. I need to discuss in another batch if how we can manage the start of Azure. So let me stop the recording. So the another